top of the day, beautiful people. Hold on. Get this together. Uncle Nathaniel, greetings, peaceful greetings. I said greetings. Peaceful greetings. Hold on. I'm right here just get my book. I just dropped a bunch of papers when I picked up my book. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I promise you I'm going to fix this rickety chair. I keep forgetting to tell my husband to put some screws in this jank. Okay. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Jen, good morning. Do y'all have daylight saving time where you at, Jen? Or did you is it like still the same time for you? Okay, sweet. All right, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. It is March the 13th, 2022, day number 54 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1072. Today, we're going to start in Tablet L in the Complete Annunaki Bible, and then we're going to read a little bit more of My Big Toe in chapter 27, possibly finishing it up today. I know that I say that every day, and sometimes we just don't finish it or get to it at all. So possibly read a little bit more of My Big Toe in chapter 27. Okay. Okay. All right. Father, thank you for another day. We at it again. Continue to lead us and guide us in all truth as we roll throughout our days. Hallelujah. I think Arizona is the only state that doesn't. Okay. Auntie, great rising, great rising. All right, y'all. So let's hop right on over here to it. Tablet L, Book of the Law of Marduk. This is the book of the Law of Marduk, given to the race of dragon blood kings ruling in the name of Marduk on earth. The tablet was written under the authorship of it's Hammurabi, but it's the K. Be throwing me off sometime. It's a K in front of the H. Okay. The tablet was rewritten under the authorship of Hammurabi, but the code existed before his time and has its origins in the Sumerian age. The book of the law is now open for all. The priests and priest kings of Babylon, ruled by the covenant of the descendant of kingship on earth from heaven in honor of Marduk, who granted a freedom for men to rule in Mesopotamia as in Egypt. They did so in his name, and often took on his name and the name of his family members during their reign. Kings who ruled in true honor of Marduk would honor him with daily prayer, seeking blessings and discernment for a righteous reign. These have been uncovered on ancient tablets and are included here, once used by a line of kings famous for a true Marduk reign, including not only the notorious Hammurabi previously mentioned, but also the Neo-Babylonian dynasties, including Nebuchadnezzar II, and a special situation involving installment of Cyrus to the throne by Marduk. The Cyrus event took place during the Babylonian reign of Nabonidus, who in circa 538 BC decided to bring his horrible reign to a climax with the desecration and the defamation of the Mardukite lineage, particularly the shrines of Nabu and Marduk. Thus, Nabonidus lost favor as heir to the Babylonian throne of Marduk. With the anger of Marduk came the passing of his grace and favor to another who would fight in his name and remove Nabonidus from the throne. This figure was Cyrus, a foreigner who was taken by the hand of Marduk to the seat of Babylon. Uncle JB, sup? Okay. And this is where the tablets begin. Remember, each tablet has this little quick blurb or intro that's going on with it. Okay. The Law of Marduk Tablet. Anu, supreme king of the Annunaki, and Enlil, lord of heaven on earth, assigned the fate of the land to Marduk, the ruling heir of Ea, which is Enki, god of righteousness. Dominion was granted to Marduk in Babylon over mankind. Great among the Igigi watchers was he, and great was his name. On the name of Marduk was built the everlasting kingdom of heaven on earth. This sounded a little Christian and like y'all. I'm telling you, this is where where Christians got this stuff from. Right? I ain't even mad about it no more. It's just interesting that I'm correcting information that I have. Oh, okay. Can you bring some screws for my rickety chair? I keep forgetting to ask you. But I remember every morning I come sit down and I'm swinging from side to side. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay. I'll just start it. Okay. Anu, supreme king of the Anunnaki, and Enlil, lord of heaven on earth, assigned the fate of the land to Marduk, the ruling heir of Ea, Enki, god of righteousness. Dominion was granted to Marduk in Babylon over mankind. Great among the Igigi watchers was he, and great was his name. On the name of Marduk was built the everlasting kingdom of heaven on earth. And on the foundation of heaven and earth was kingship decided. Among the kings of Babylon, Marduk descended on the exalted. Hold on. Among the kings of Babylon, Marduk descended on the exalted prince, Hammurabi. I keep saying, I just can't keep throwing me off. I'm sorry, y'all. Hammurabi, a servant of the Lord Marduk, called to bring order in the lands of Marduk by the law that would destroy the wicked sorcerers and evildoers in the land, and that the strong would not rise up and overcome the weak into another slavery. So that the Adamu would not be slaved again to toil for the Igigi or to be slaved again among their own race. We see how well that worked out, right? Amanda, shalom, shalom. The eye of Marduk passed on and rested upon Hammurabi, to whom was given the dragon blood of Baal, and it has reference 66 for Baal. Baal is a generic term for Lord. Presumably Enlil and older Sumerian tablets, the role or indication of Baal is sometimes used in more recent Akkadian and Babylonian tablets to indicate Enki, and more often Marduk, who is considered Lord by the Babylonians. Might as well be the same person, whether they're talking about Enki or Marduk, because Enki is the father of Marduk, right? The king continued, I'm sorry. I don't went over here that was the end of the page. I got to go back over here to this reference. Okay. The eye of Marduk passed on and rested on Hammurabi, to whom was given the dragon blood of Baal, made prosperous, who reestablished Eridu and purified the worship at the shrines, true patron to the Eker and rejoicer in the name of Marduk, to whom he makes daily prayer and offerings as he was directed. He is beloved by the god Nabu and Adad. He is beloved by the god Nabu, and Adad listens to his prayers. Hear me, said the king, who holds the navel of the four corners. I have come, led to this place by the rays which shine over the land. Beloved of Marduk, I have been sent forth by the kings above. By the name of Marduk, I have been given rule over mankind. In the name of Marduk, protection granted throughout the land. By the powers of Marduk is righteousness commanded on the earth. In the grace of Marduk, the the oppressed on earth shall live as free men, as lavishly as the great god Samas has enjoyed life. Then, when Hammurabi shone the secret tablet of union, and from it he set down the book of the law to preserve justice. The code was to be given to the dragon blood of the generations, that justice would prevail throughout the earth forever after. To live in harmony with one another was the decree, that no man should take up arms against another or steal from another, that any man who borrows from another shall make good for it, and under the blessings of Marduk none should ever be in want. A righteous law was established in the land and was taught from heaven. Hammurabi went out to teach the law of the union to the people, protector of the people. He did not withdraw into secret cavities. He was not negligent with the people given to him by Baal. He was not negligent with the laws given to him by Samas. He was not negligent with the power to rule given to him by Marduk. Overcoming all else, the king allowed the light to shine upon the land. Hear me, said the king. The Annunaki gods have called to me. Nergal and Ishtar have entrusted to me terrible weapons. Ea, Enki, has entrusted me with the clear sight to rule the lands of men. Marduk has entrusted me wisdom to subdue all enemies, and I go forth to subdue the earth and let prosperity reign in all the lands. Security to live should be the guarantee of all men in their homes. Disturbing the peace and order in the land cannot be tolerated. The king continued, I am the straight staff bearing shepherd. I am a lover of the people of the lands of Sumer and Akkad. All right, no, sorry. All right. I am a lover of the people of the lands of Sumer and Akkad, and under my rule, shelter, may all the people find sanctuary, that the strong arm will not injure the weaker. And two, shall widows and orphans be protected in my city of Babylon, where Anu, Baal, and for Baal here, it also has another foot reference, and it says, in this listing of divine hierarchy, Baal is assuredly indicating Enlil, right? So if we know who this reveals that Enlil is, according to Christian, we call it Christian lore or the Bible stories, Enlil is called Yahweh in the Bible, right? Remember, he has a thing about orphans and widows. I mean, which is not a bad thing. Like, it's really not a bad thing. Listen to this. Let me go back again. I'll just start this paragraph again. Hammurabi is a ruler, king, but more so, he is a father to the people, and he holds the words and law of Marduk in high reverence. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta go back up. Okay, hold on. The king continued, I am the straight staff bearing shepherd. I am a lover of the people of the lands of Sumer and Akkad, and under my rule, shelter, may all the people find sanctuary, that the strong arm will not injure the weaker. And two, shall widows and orphans be protected in my city of Babylon, where Anu, Baal, and Ea, Enki, and Marduk smile upon us. In the Esagil temple, which stands on the foundation of heaven and earth, where all injuries are healed and all disputes are settled. Hammurabi is a ruler king, but more so, he is a father to the people, and he holds the words and law of Marduk in high reverence, who has achieved victory in the name of Marduk above and below, bestower of the beneficent grace of the Annunaki on his subjects, he who has established the order of Marduk in the lands. Among rulers, his words will be well considered. No wisdom is equal. By the command of Samas, the judge of the heaven and earth, may truth and righteousness reign supreme throughout the lands. Let those who read these words have a pure heart and pray to Marduk, my lord, and Sarpanit, my lady, his consort. May the elder gods of the Anunnaki who visit the shrine of Babylon grant to the pure their desires, such as those taken to Marduk daily. By the order of Marduk, may no destruction see the great temple. To the future generations, may they heed all these words set down. Let the law of the land not be altered from that which I have given it. A wise ruler is one who is sure to understand these words. By the decree of Samas, I have been given my eternal legacy. My words, legacy, shall always be in the mouths of the people on earth, that my name shall ever be that my name shall be ever visible in the great book, and the wisdom of the great book shall ever be in the hands of dragon blood. Dragon blood would be the priests, right? I kind of like that term, dragon blood. If a forthcoming ruler should read my words and not corrupt the law, then may Samaz extend the length of his reign on earth, and he shall ever reign in righteousness over his subjects. The next section is the tablet of wisdom. To the kings and priests is given the tablet of wisdom. For the wise among men is given the true words of power. To be wise is to be discreet in your undertakings, to be humble in your knowledge, and guard that knowledge. The wise does not speak needlessly, but carefully. As you would closely guard riches, so your words. That was beautiful. Let me hear it again. That was beautiful. The wise does not speak needlessly, but carefully. As you would closely guard riches, so your words. That's something that sounds like something right out of the book of Proverbs, right? Something that King Solomon would say. But we know where King Solomon got his wisdom from. Allow no arrogance or falsehood to come into your speech. The wise, first and foremost, seek after the truth. Execute your actions in the light of truth. Worship thy God daily with prayers and appropriate incense, and with your heart obediently given to thy Lord your God, for such is the life acceptable unto God. Blessed is the one who fears the Annunaki, and in brackets it has, or Baal, for you shall enjoy prosperity. Blessed is the one who offers food at the altar of sacrifices, for you shall enjoy a long life. Blessed is the one who leads a life of prayer, for you shall enjoy freedom from sin. Blessed is the one who worships with humble prostrations, for you shall enjoy the graces of the Annunaki. Blessed is he who loves and honors the Annunaki, but does not dismiss the source, your God, for you shall enjoy eternal life in the abode of heaven. The next section is called Enlilship of Marduk on earth. The bull of heaven, the lord of the deep, Enki, son of Anu, brought forth by Marduk. Marduk, lord of the pure mound, was created. Marduk, created to be worthy of prayer. Marduk, created to be worthy of sacrifice. The evildoer who would bring falsehood before Marduk, he brings death upon his whole country. Let you never break your contract, whether with the righteous or the evildoer, both the faithful and unfaithful. Walk beneath the ever present eye of Marduk. Water brings life to the one who drinks the truth. Fire brings clarity to the path of one who walks with truth. Air brings inspiration to the one who breathes the truth. Earth brings foundation to the one who stands on truth. The tablets of the law have been written and sealed at the foundation, bond of heaven and earth. Offer the Offer daily the sacrifice of meat and libation to Marduk, and let the altar of offering never be emptied. May Marduk bring his brightness and glory to the people. May Marduk bring help to the troubles of the people. May Marduk bring ease to the suffering of the people. May Marduk bring joy and May Marduk bring joy to the sadness of the people. May Marduk bring mercy to the unjustness of the people. May Marduk bring health to the illness of the people. May Marduk bring victory to the warriors in his name. May Marduk bring good conscience to priests of his name. May Marduk bring a happy and a prosperous home to the people of his nation who live under the law of Marduk, who was given enlilship on earth as appropriated by Anu, the heavenly bull who lives and resides in heaven. That kind of sound like the God we worship, right? All these things that he do for his people, right? They just using a different name, right? We get down to it. We keep going. The Sargon Tablet. I am Sargon, the mighty king of Akkad. My mother was of humble estate, and I knew nothing of my father. The brother of my father was a dweller in the mountain. My city is Azu Purani, which lies on the banks of the Euphrates. My humble mother brought me forth in secret. In a basket of reeds she laid me. She smeared the latch with bitumen and pushed me off into the river. But the river did not swallow me. The river carried me to Akai, a man who labored by watering the fields. Akai lifted me out of the basket, raised me as his son. Akai reared me to be his gardener. And all the while I gardened, Marduk smiled on me. And by this love I was made a ruler of the kingdom. The next section is the capture of Babylon with the favor of Marduk. I, Cyrus, was sought out by Marduk. Marduk sought me, a righteous prince, a worthy king to take the hand of Marduk. Marduk proclaimed me king of Anshan, and the title Lord of the world he gave to me. By divine right, upgraded with dragon blood, I moved. I moved on the land of Kuti and compelled them. The men bowed to their kings in the name of Marduk. The men were delivered into my hands by Marduk, and I governed with justice and righteousness. We know a little bit about King Cyrus, right? Marduk, the great Lord, protector of the people. Marduk smiled upon me, Cyrus, with joy. To his city of Babylon, the great Lord bids me to move. On the road to Babylon, the great Lord set me, and Marduk marched by my side as friend and counsel. As we marched, our caravan increased in number. Soldiers and arms in allegiance with Marduk came, but no war was to be fought. The road to Babylon was open before us. Unopposed, we marched to the gates of the city of Babylon, and Marduk demanded that his city would go unharmed. Entering the city through the gate of Marduk, the great Lord demanded Nabonidus to be delivered to him, a king who had not upheld the will of Marduk. Cyrus was made king before the grace of Marduk. The Babylonians, the people of Sumer and Akkad, the courtly princes and governors, every shepherd and peasant, bowed to the sovereignty of Marduk. With bright faces, the name of Marduk was exalted, and equally to the power or reign of Cyrus on earth. Lord Marduk, who can raise the dead to life. Lord Marduk, remover of destruction and want. Lord Marduk, who has smiled on Cyrus. Cyrus, the mighty king of Babylon. Cyrus, the great king of the wind or command. Cyrus, the powerful king of Sumer and Akkad. Cyrus, the earthly king of the four quarters of the world. I, Cyrus, have entered Babylon favorably and made my abode in the high place in return for the daily devotion to the Marduk. By the command of Lord Marduk, patron of the Babylonians, I have restored the Annunaki gods to their shrines and cast out the abominations conjured by Nabonidus. May all the Annunaki gods, whom have been restored to their cities and shrines, pray daily to Baal Marduk and Nabu for the lengthening of my days of reign. And may they speak the words among the people, that which are prayers to my Lord Marduk. Let King Cyrus, who worship you properly, and his son Cambyses live long and prosperous lives. Now we're going to the Nebuchadnezzar the second tablet. I mentioned this a long time ago. I have two tablets. Of course, they're in book form, right? But it's called the Nebuchadnezzar Tablet, right? Nebuchadnezzar the first tablet and Nebuchadnezzar the second tablet, which I thought to be very insightful while my readings through the book of Daniel and like Kings and stuff. I was like, yo, that's when I started realizing it was things written by other people to other people during that time that was translated and preserved and then translated as time progressed that we probably should have, right? It will increase our learning while we read the Bible, right? Okay. The Nebuchadnezzar, the second tablet. Lord Marduk, glorious chief of the Annunaki, has heard my petition. Lord Marduk, captain among Annunaki, has received my prayer. I have subdued those who do not heed to the will of Marduk. I have overcome the rebels in the country and made the inhabitants of my kingdom loyal through their prosperity. To Babylon I have carried gold, silver, copper, lapis lazuli, and other precious stones and expensive woods, resins from the mountains. I have decorated the shrine of Marduk, the Isagila shrine of Marduk I have decorated with gold. Wood from the finest cedars of Lebanon comprise the roof, and I have decorated the boats of Marduk. The gate of Nanasin I have plated with silver. The Arabu Shabu processional way of Marduk I have paved with tiles. Since Marduk created me to be king, and Nabu has called his people to my realm, as the love I have for my own life, so do I feel toward the building and reign of their cities. The next section is entitled The Dragon King's Prayer to Marduk. O Lord Marduk, Prince of the gods, you who created me to be king among your people and committed the hearts of the people to my sovereignty. As my life, I love the supremacy of your cities. No other city exists in the world such as is your home. In honor of your Godhead, I seek the power of your lordship. May the house I have made for your shrine endure for all eternity, just as you shall endure. Marduk, compassionate one among the highest, Annunaki in brackets. After highest, it has Annunaki. May I be satisfied by your fullness, and may I reach long, prosperous years. May my offspring be blessed. May the true dragon kings who rule over all mankind bring tribute to the name of Marduk. In his midst, may I too receive tribute from the foundations of the heavens to its heights, from the rising sun to its setting. May I possess no foes that I may gain. I'm sorry. May I possess no foes and may I gain no enemies. In the words of truth, and in brackets it has power or ma'at, I speak. And may the prosperity of dragon blood rule over the lands of men forever and ever. Where we at? 27 minutes? I guess we could pause right here because the next one is whew, I really want to read it. All right, that was the end. Wait. Yeah, tablet L. The next tablet is tablet M.0. Okay. Yeah. The tablet after that is tablet M1, tablet M.1 through 9. Okay. This one's probably okay. But the name of this this next tablet was really interesting. We might just save that for tomorrow. This one, the next one's called Book of Exorcisms and Maklu Banishings. You know I love stuff like this. Okay. It's the weekend. Let's go and do it. Okay. Tablet M, Book of Exorcisms and Maklu Banishings. Here is the book of burnt offerings, the book of burnings and exorcisms handed down from the priest of the old ways when Enki walked the earth. The Maklu, and it has reference 68, Maklu is spelling used in the Simonian Necronomicon, where other scholarly texts transliterate the word as Maklu, M-A-Q-L-U, as given in the next tablet, M.1 through 9 section in this Necronomicon Annunaki Bible. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Yesaf, shalom, shalom. Okay. Here is the book of burnt offerings, the book of burnings and exorcisms handed down from the priests of the old ways when Enki walked the earth. The Maklu tablets are key components of the Babylonian ancient mystery tradition. The practitioner indeed will find that there are times of warfare not of this world, when the wicked witch and warlock cast their magics against thee by the grace of their gods. In such times of trial, a self-honest priest is not left unprotected. I'm telling y'all got to know some of this stuff so y'all know when it's being done and it's being conjured against the truly righteous, right? Y'all got to learn how to make y'all got to learn how to see it and make what's the word? You got to be able to identify. That's not the word I was looking for, but it means identify. You got to find the separation line on who's really who, right? That's why you need to know. Because if you don't know what's being done, you don't know what's being done to you. You can't figure it out. You're just going to think you're being attacked by the devil, right? Okay. The practitioner indeed will find that there are times of warfare, not of this world, when the wicked witch and warlock cast their magics, and it has S after magics. And magic, when used through this, is with a K. I know English terms, they remove the K, but it has the K added to all every time it says magic. The practitioner indeed will find that there are times of warfare, not of this world, when the wicked witch and warlock cast their magics against thee by the grace of their gods. In such times of trial, a self-honest priest is not left unprotected. Functional use of exorcisms to banish evil spirits is a most ancient form of mysticism. The purpose of the Marduk tablets is specifically to target the evil spirit and evil doer, and it has in parentheses witch or warlock, those who use these things against other people or to create destruction upon the earth. You need to know it, because if you're going to be on the side of the righteous, you need to understand what they're doing so you can know how to subdue them, right? Those who have gone rogue, just like the master teacher at the beginning of Doctor Strange, right? She wasn't using the dark arts or the dark magic to run rampant upon the earth. She was using a higher form of that fiercer magic to subdue the rogue students who were unleashing hell upon the earth, right? I'm just saying, I got to understand it like that because that's what's happening. Functional use of exorcisms to banish evil spirits is a most ancient form of mysticism. The purpose of the Marduk tablets is specifically to target the evil spirit and evildoer, witch or warlock that has either attacked or is actively working against the practitioner. And if you don't think the priests of Yah were doing this, you really haven't been paying attention. Because that's what the priesthood was about. They have sanitize the scriptures that is currently being passed around to the masses. They've sanitized it. They leave little inklings of stuff in there, but it just doesn't make sense. Some of it when you study it long enough, you're trying to you missing some stuff. That's what you need to know. You should go looking for it. You really should go looking for it. Okay, let me go back. I'm gonna read this again. Functional use of exorcisms to banish evil spirits is a most ancient form of mysticism. The purpose of the Marduk tablets is specifically to target the evil spirit and the evil doer, and in parentheses, evil doer is defined as witch or warlock, that either has attacked or is actively working against the practitioner. It is assumed that the enemy exists within a similar Annunaki paradigm, and the more righteous priest, a servant of his tradition, need only appeal to the same authorities by which to shut the enemy off from their source in extreme cases, resulting in the fitful death of the enemy, or at the very least to protect the practitioner from any further fruitless assaults. While the Mardukite priests of Babylon observe these operations most closely, remnants of the Maklu, or Maklu is just spelled different. The first is spelled with a K, Maklu, or Maklu, Maqlu. Okay. While the Mardukite priests of Babylon observe these operations most closely, remnants of the Maklu or Marduk tablets appear not only in more ancient Sumerian practices, but also in the ceremonial texts of the Akkadians, the Chaldeans, and even more recent Semitic tribes. Who are Semitic tribes? The descendants of Shem, right? Shem, who is Shem? Shem was a high priest. Matter of fact, he was the Melchizedek, right? I'm just saying. Just some things to bring to the forefront at this current time. The threat of spirits and magic in the ancient world appears to be a very real matter. Editor's note: incantations provided in the M0 series are based on tablet fragments appearing throughout the modern text related to the Mesopotamian magical tradition. The full 9 tablet series that follows these in the M tablet series is the Maklu proper. Okay. So it's going to go through a few different incantations, and it's only a couple pages. But when we get done with this portion, we're going to pause and we're going to get into the rest of it, which goes into some of the other stuff. We'll get into that tomorrow. Shayla, hey girl, hey, great rising. All right. The incant, and don't get scared, y'all. This is not going to affect you. Just reading you what it says, but pay attention. An incantation against the 7 maskim. They are 7. They are 7. In the depths of the ocean, they are 7. In the brilliant shining heavens, they are 7. They proceed from the ocean depths and from the hidden retreat. They are neither male nor female, those which stretch themselves out like chains. They have no spouse. They do not produce children. They are strangers to goodness. The enemies, the enemies. They are 7. They are 7. They are twice 7. Spirit of the heavens, conjure it and remember. The spirit of the earth, conjure it and remember. The next one is an incantation against the 7 maskim, which it says the same thing. Matter of fact, all the first 3. Yeah, all the first 3 is an incantation against the 7 maskim, then it changes to an exorcism against the possessing spirit. Okay. And if anybody, okay, so if anybody has ever done any in from the Christian realm, you're familiar with these terms. If anybody's ever done any spiritual warfare or casting out devils and demons or going through you really don't really hear this word in the Christian church, but you hear more on the Catholic side, exorcisms and stuff. Some of the same stuff they were doing, y'all. If you studied that, or if you were in the deliverance ministry, this doesn't scare you, and you know it's a real thing, right? But people who aren't too familiar with it or shy away from it don't really understand what's happening. All right, okay. I just want to say that. An incantation against the 7 maskim. They ignore the prayers. They scoff at the decrees. They are the worms that emerge from the mountains of Mashu. They are the enemies of our father Enki. They are the hatred spewed from the ancient ones. They are the cause of difficulties among the people. They obtain power through wicked deeds. The enemies, the enemies, the 7 enemies. They are 7. They are 7. They are 7 times 7. The spirit of the sky, remember. Spirit of the earth, conjure and remember. And do you know what yeah. Do you know what priest really stands for? Kimball masking. Yeah, masking. It explained it up here. Masking. It's a certain type of spirit. Let me go back up here. Yeah, the 7 masking. It's like the more evil spirit. It's not necessary. They're fierce, but they're like a evil type of fierce energy, right? And you don't really mess around with that, right? Only the one, like they were created for like a purpose, just like pigs and roaches and stuff, right? We won't necessarily mess around with them, but they were created to serve a purpose. But there are some people that use that particular type of energy for evil workings against other people, and that's not what they were created for. Leave them alone to do what they're gonna do, right? So that's who we're talking about: the people who have evil intents in their heart to work evil towards their fellow human being, right? Those are the ones who get involved with the darker arts, so the darker magic to work against other people and put curses on them and hexes and all that kind of crazy stuff that's happening. The church teach you to stay away from it, not to talk about it. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I really don't. What I do disagree with is completely ignoring that it exists and it's being used against you. Because how can you defend yourself? How can you fight back? Especially when Yah has given everything into our hands to be able to change some things around, right? We stated calling on them, ma, or dad, help, and it's like, look, girl, what's wrong with you? Or boy, what's wrong with you? You got good working hands. You can see, fight back, right? It's a time. Like, think about your kids getting into a fight. Now, granted, when they're younger, especially if you a little ratchet, I ain't not necessarily gonna say ratchet, but if you're overprotective of your own, right? You ain't just gonna let anybody, you know, come up to them and just do anything to them, right? You're just not gonna let that happen. Sometimes you may need to intervene, especially if it's a bully or somebody bigger that oh, they're gonna tear my child to pieces. Not on my watch. Go get your mama. Go get your dad. I don't care. Get your cousin. Get everybody. We're gonna be out here. So it's kind of like that type of thing. But there comes a time where you need to pull your child to the side. But listen here. First of all, don't be afraid of them. You need to stand like you really have, and it's the same way, right? We got to learn about this. You need to stand up to the bully, right? Let them know they can't mess with you. Not that you need to go out there acting crazy, but you need to let it be known that you are not to be played with, right? It's the same thing. Y'all teaches us the same thing, but a lot of times, like, oh no, you go fight for me, and that's cool in some cases. It really is. I am not against crying out to y'all for help. Sometimes we need it because we really do not know what is happening, especially if we're ignorant of spiritual things and we cannot detect what's happening in the unseen realm, right? But there comes a time where it's like, listen, you need to stand up to them. This is what you need to do. Look at what they're doing, right? And so that's when I began to realize that, I'm like, oh shoot, okay, because see, they told me to stay away from this because I might get demon possessed if I start looking into it. And for the longest time, I stayed away from it. Y'all know about this big spirit of fear that I used to have growing up, watching Freddy Krueger movies and Jason and all that stuff, Halloween, all that. It instilled a terrible spirit of fear, which further helped some of the poor teachings that I got along my life's path and journey, which kept me from even looking at stuff. And I'm just like, I'm gonna pull the covers over. I feel the boogeyman in the room. I'm gonna just pull the covers over my head and snatch my feet under the covers. Like the boogeyman can't snatch the covers off me or stick his hand under the covers and grab my foot, right? Like that's what we do as Christians. We tend to pull the covers over our heads and snatch our feet up under the covers, right? I'm like, bruh, you still exposed. You really think that's helping? Do something, right? It's the same thing. So masculine is like the more evil. Yeah, I know I got into all that. You just asked what masculine was, Kimball. I'm sorry. But it's like the more fierce energy, like really type evils, which you would probably classify if you want to use like some magical terms or demonic terms or whatever. They would be like yeah, I would say jinns would fall in that category. Jinn, Jinn. Um, and sometimes they spell it with a what is it? GJI. They use both of them, GJINN, right? But they're the jinn, they're fierce, but they're also known as pranksters, but not like the type of pranks that you would like to be caught up in. Like there are some good-hearted pranks and stuff, but these are like terrible pranks that they like to pull where, oh, you gonna come to us for help? Well, we need your life in return. Like, no, we don't fool around with that type of stuff, right? But we do identify what you are so we can know when you're present and you working behind the scenes, and we know how to get rid of you, right? So that's we all hear me talking about this stuff and we learn about it. Don't think, oh, we about to start doing a bunch of witchcraft. No, guys, we're just trying to be informed of what's happening. Poltergeist. They would fall in the category of the masculine, right? But you need to verify that it's truly a poltergeist, right? And not another human spirit playing around with you. Because this is the ones we need to get under control. There are spirits in the unseen realm, right? But they're also disembodied humans in the unseen realm, and they're also living humans like us that are learning how to operate on purpose. And you can go out of body, and you got some of them pranksters they can go into the unseen realm with their astral body and pull pranks or do things to other people. So you need to, that's the word I was looking for earlier, decipher. You need to be able to decipher who is who, what is what. And in order to do that, you got to learn about it. You got to learn every area, right? You got to learn about the poltergeist. You got to learn about the masking. You got to learn about the silly humans that just want to pick with people. I'm going to get them in another way type thing, but with evil intents in their heart. It's all those type of things. It's like a whole, I said, a whole college course, right? It'll keep you busy for some time. And so this is what we're learning about. This is why we're bringing this stuff out, so y'all can be aware, right? Especially if you're having out of body experiences, you need to know, if you run into entities, who they are, right? So I'm just saying, it's better to be prepared than unprepared and get your tail tore off like the seven sons of Skeezer. Skeezer. Seven sons of Sceva. Jesus we know, Paul we know, but who are you, right? You come up in there thinking, oh, that's pretty cool, I'm gonna go do this. Yeah, you don't carry that same authority that they carry. Get on out of here. Matter of fact, we're gonna beat your tail. Next time, you better know before you come in here playing around with us, right? So I'm just saying, okay. Let's go back to the incantation. An incantation against the seven. They are seven, they are seven. In the valley of the abyss, they are seven. In the numberless stars of heaven, they are seven. In the abyss and in the depths, they grow in power. They are not male and they are not female. They dry up the moistness of the sea waves. They do not love women. They do not produce offspring. They despise order and justice. They hear not the request or prayer. They care not for the request or prayer. They are large like the horses of the mountains. They are seven. They are seven. The evil spirits are seven. The next one is an exorcism against the possessing spirit. The wicked god, the wicked demon, the demon of the desert, the demon of the mountain, the demon of the sea, the demon of the marsh, spirit of the heavens, conjure it and remember. Spirit of the earth, conjure it and remember. The next section is an exorcism against the possessing spirit. Did I tell y'all? I sat here. I asked y'all, did y'all know what the definition of a priest was? Did I ever tell y'all? I just forgot that quick. Did I tell y'all what it was? What I say? What a priest really was? Did I say y'all? Nobody knows. Did I say it? Because I don't remember. I know I just said it, but I don't remember if I actually said it or if I went off into one of my little stories. Nobody answered. So maybe I didn't say it. Okay, so a priest, the actual definition of a priest is a conjurer, right? It's a conjurer. What does a conjurer do? Think about what conjurers do and what they get into, right? They're working between worlds, right? Okay, I just thought I'd tell y'all that. In my in my um in my understanding, in my current understanding as I'm going along. Okay. The next one, an exorcism against the possessing spirit. The wicked mind, the enormous larva, the evil winds, the demon that seizes the body, the demon that attacks the body, spirit of the sky, conjure and remember, spirit of the earth, conjure and remember, the demon that seizes the man, the demon that attacks the man, the gigim, Gigim, the Gigim that works evil in the world, the spawn of the wicked demon, spirit of the sky, conjure and remember, spirit of the earth, conjure and remember, the wicked one who forges evil images, the wicked one who speaks the evil spells, the evil angel and the evil eye, the evil mouth and the evil tongue, the evil lips speaking a most evil sorcery. May the wicked demons depart. May the May may they turn upon one another. May they feed on each other's bones. Spirit of the sky, conjure and remember. Spirit of the earth, conjure and remember. The next section is a Chaldean exorcism against the possessing spirit or the evil eye. The warlock who forges the evil image, the wicked witch who enchants, the spiteful face of the evil eye, the wicked mouth and the wicked tongue, the wicked lips and the wicked words. Spirit of the sky, remember. Spirit of the earth, remember. They are the enemies of our father, Enki. They who have revolted cause the gods to trouble. Yeah, that's what it says. They who have revolted cause the gods to trouble. They spread terror over the highways and advance with a whistling roar. They are evil, they are evil, they are seven, they are seven. And again, they are twice seven. Spirit of the sky, remember them. Spirit of the earth, remember them. Conjure and bind these evil spirits. Spirit of Ramanu, and in brackets it has an inerta, king of the word of light, conjure. Spirit of Samas, Shamash Utu, king of justice, conjure. Spirit of Anu, mighty God, conjure them the incantations of these evil spirits. The next one is an incantation against illness. O wicked demon of the malignant plague, the spirit of the earth has made you leave this body. May the favorable genius, the good giant, the favorable Keko demon come forth with the spirit of the earth, incantation of the powerful God, conjure. The next one is an incantation against illness. Arise, arise, be gone, be gone. Be ashamed, be ashamed. Flee before me, flee. Turn around, go back, arise and go. May your wickedness rise to heaven like smoke. Arise and leave my body, and leave this body from this body. Depart and be banished. Flee away from my. Okay, so after my, it has in brackets this. So making sure the spirit understands you're talking about leave this body, right? Okay, so if you got an illness going on with you, you can Christianity just call it prayer, right? Or prayer of deliverance. It's the same exact thing, y'all. Same exact thing. Okay. Let me go back. I'll start over. Arise, arise, be gone, be gone. Be ashamed, be ashamed. Flee before me, flee. Turn around, go back, arise and go away. May your wickedness rise to heaven like smoke. Arise and leave my body. I'm sorry. It just sounds weird. Arise and leave this body. From this body. Depart and be ashamed. Flee away from this body. Flee. Turn away from this body. Go back. Go far away from this body, and do not return to this body. You don't have to say this, but I think they put it in brackets to make sure you understand that it's talking about this is like a personal prayer. Flee from this body. Flee from my body. Y'all got it already, but I just want to say it again. Go far away from this body, and do not return to this body, and do not come near to this body, and never again approach this body. I command you by Samas, the mighty one. I command you by Enki, the Lord of life. I command you by Marduk, the great God. I command you by the God of fire that consumes you. In the name of the destroyer, be gone. And I notice this might get a few people perturbed, but I noticed while reading through the Bible, sometimes when it goes through prayers like this, maybe see how I can give you a good example. Okay, so you know how it goes through and it calls out well, you can find it in Proverbs, not Proverbs, Psalms, and a few of the different Psalms where it's giving praise to Yah, and it goes through and it calls out different things, and it labels a different attribute, and it gives to him like whether you want to say powerful God, mighty God, all the different titles that they give to Yah. It reminds me of that. Okay. I just want to say that. Against the ancient ones and their worshippers. That was the title for the next section. Against the ancient ones and their worshippers. The destructive storm and the evil wind they are, an evil blasting, heralding the destructive storm, an evil blast trumpeting the destructive storm. They are mighty offspring, the ancient ones. They are heralds of pestilence, the ancient ones. They are the destructive flood rushing over the land. 7 evil gods are they in the vast heavens. 7 evil gods are they upon the vast earth. They are 7, the 7 gods of night. They are 7 evil gods, the 7 evil demons. They are 7 in heaven and 7 on earth. Boil, boil, burn, burn, burn. Who are you that attacks me? Whose son? Who are you that attacks me? Whose daughter? What sorcery and spell has brought you here? May Inky, Lord of life, free and protect me. May Marduk Ashar, son of Inki, free and protect me. May Anu, God of the heavens, free and protect me. May they deflect and nullify your wicked spells. I chain you and bind you and deliver you to the fire god, Gira, Lord of the flames, sears and burns you to the core. May the spirit of Gira and Gibil lend me power. The wicked ones have chosen me for a corpse. The wicked ones have delivered me to the dead. The wicked ones have sent demons to haunt me. The wicked ones have sent demons to drain me. The wicked ones deliver me to the spirits of the wastelands. The wicked ones deliver me to the spirits of the ruins. The wicked ones deliver me to the forbidden. No more shall you speak evil spells against me. I have given your image to the spirit of the flames. I have given your image to the Lord of the fire. Burn, you wicked evil one. Boil, you wicked chaotic God. May the burning of Gira undo the knots. May the fires of Gibil undo the sorcery. May the covenant of the burning choke your throat. I like that. May the covenant, that might even be our title today. May the covenant of the burning choke your throat. May the covenant of the burning be my revenge. It is not I, but Marduk, son of Enki, that commands you. Spirit of the sky, conjure and remember. Spirit of the earth, conjure and remember. Every time I say spirit of the sky and spirit of the earth, I think about the Oaspi, right? Because O is sky, Ah is earth, and of course, Spi is spirit, right? Oaspi. Okay, that was the end of that section. Agenia, did I say that right? Agenia. Agenia, shalom, sis. What are you reading? Okay. More than 7, more like 7,000 or 70,000. Not a lot of people know of the knots. Yo, sis, you know some stuff, right? You right. Okay, so we're reading the complete Annunaki Bible, right? By Joshua Free. It has some of the more ancient tablets where all the religions were derived from, and they just changed the names of it, Islam, Christianity, and stuff. But all of them derive from these more ancient tablets, and these are the ones that they've translated. The A tablet. This one goes from A to Z, and we got it. You can get it off of Amazon. I forget how much it was. It was probably like $14-15, something like that, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so it's the translation of the Sumerian tablets. Yeah. All right, y'all. So this is the last little section for this first portion of Tablet M, a binding of the worshipers of the ancient ones. I call to you the gods of night. Together with you, I invoke the mistress of the night. I call in the evening, at midnight, and at dawn's twilight, because they have enchanted me. The sorcerer and the sorceress have bound me. My God and my goddess cry over me. I am plagued with pain from illness. I stand upright because I cannot lie down, neither during the night nor during the day. They have stuffed my mouth with cords. They have closed my mouth with grass. They have made the water of my drink scarce. My joy is sorrow, and my merriment is grief. Awaken, great gods, and hear my wailing. Obtain justice. Take notice of my ways and avenge me. I am pres. I present an image of the sorcerer and the sorceress, of my enchanter and enchantress. May the 3 watchers of the night deflect their evil sorceries. May their mouths be wax and their tongues honey, and may the words of my doom, which they have spoken, may they melt like wax. The spell that they worked, may it pour away like honey. Their knot is broken, and their work is destroyed. All their speech fills the deserts and the wastelands in accordance to the covenant which the gods of night have issued. Spirit of the sky, conjure and remember. Spirit of the sky, conjure and remember. All right, y'all. So that's the end of the first part of tablet M.0 or M0. Right. So we're going to pause right here and we'll finish the rest of, well, we may not finish the rest of tablet M tomorrow. It's tablet M, but it's going through sections 1 through 9, or tablet M with tablets 1 through tablet 9 within this particular series. So we may be reading this one for a couple of days when we start it tomorrow. Let me see. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me just go back to the table of contents. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tablet M is almost like 100 pages. Yeah, from tablet M.0 all the way to tablet M.9. It's almost 100 pages, y'all. Before we get to tablet N, which is the book of Nemesis or the Enuma Elish. Elise, however you want to say it. Okay. Here's one in here that's pretty interesting. The book of the return and last days. This is going to be pretty interesting. Okay. All right, y'all. So that's it in here. Mom, shalom, shalom. We'll pause right here. My page number. All right, y'all. So let's hop over to Marduk and read a couple pages with the hour mark. Okay. So we pause at the end of this little short aside, and we might finish. Yeah, it's Sunday. We're gonna go ahead and finish the rest of this today, right? So we can start chapter 28. All right. And we're talking about our awareness. All of this goes together, y'all. Right? This is taking us, just in case you weren't here from the beginning. My Big Toe, the first book is 3 books. It's a trilogy, right? This part is about awakenings. So when we started talking about meditation, this is actually going into the science of meditation and how we are spirits who live in bodies, right? So he goes through and he shares his whole life story and how he began to recognize that he is a spirit inside of a body and how we can literally change the world outside of us here in physical matter reality. That's what PMR stands for, physical matter reality. You can change this reality by going inward and changing non-physical matter reality, which we know better as the spirit realm, right? It's a real thing. If we didn't know before, about a month ago, maybe almost 2 months ago, at least I found out how real this really was, right? And how you can purposely go out of body. Some people, when it starts happening, if you don't grow up in a home where you have parents that know about the unseen realm, and I'm not talking about overly spiritual Christian parents either. I'm talking about those who are really in tune with the creator of the universe and understand that you are a spirit who lives in a body. Earth is a school. If you don't have those type of parents that are training you, when you start having these experiences out of body, because it starts when you're young, a lot of children have it and it's just normal to them, right? But as you get older, if you have parents that are ignorant to what's happening, they just kind of help you put that part to sleep, and then you just fall asleep for many years until you get the real awakening later in life and spiritual things start happening to you. You having these out of body experiences. Some people call it astral projection, right? Open visions, all these things, right? This breaks down the science of it and why it happens and how you can actually benefit here and literally change your life. Not that you want to go after riches and stuff, but literally how to find your life's purpose. You literally have to go within. And he talks about meditation being a key. Even the Holy Scriptures tells us meditate, right? And when you learn how to meditate, and you can actually, okay, so scriptures tell you meditate in Joshua chapter 1. Meditate in the scriptures day and night that you may make your way prosperous or successful before you, depending on what version you choose to read, right? So once you begin to do that, as you begin to meditate, right, you really understand what meditation is. Like, even you take what you learn during your study times, you sit and you think it through, roll it through your mind, but you also bring yourself to a peace. You have to learn how to quiet yourself down. A part of the meditation is being able to quiet yourself down, right? When you quiet down all this stuff and are able to shut out all the distractions around you, you then can take what you've been studying the day prior or however many, you can just pull a problem that you're having. But you have the key is quieting yourself. There are different methods to quieting yourself. Chanting is one of those methods, right? Praying in tongues is one of those methods, which we hear from the church realm, right? Church calls it praying in tongues. Eastern cultures call it chanting. It's the same thing. It's going to produce the exact same results. I've tested both of them. I grew up learning about praying in tongues. We've actually gone through that book that tells you about what happened, right? And when we get into a couple other books, it's going to verify that chanting is the same thing. But I told y'all, practice it, right? Pick a sound, pick a word, pick a string of words. You can even use the word Yah. If you think it's all hocus pocus, okay, don't do a om sound or an aim or primordial sound. Choose the word, use the creator's name or what you deem to be the creator. You're going to get the same effects, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. But it's a way to quiet this flesh down so you can get in tune with the source of creativity, with Yah, right? And when you do that, things become clear and you begin to realize that you are not your body, you are not your flesh. You are an individual spirit who can literally connect to source and pull out information, like literally, like for real, y'all. If we learn how to talk, if we learn if we learn how to do this early in life and we learn how to do it correctly, the scripture that you read in the New Testament in First John, where you don't need any, I think it's First John, you don't need any man to teach you anything, but the spirit who resides within you will teach you all things and will lead you and guide you into all truth. It's the same exact thing. If you learn how to meditate, if you learn how to connect to source, you would not need another human teacher. You wouldn't even need to come here, right? I'm just learning. I'm just sharing with you all the good things that I'm learning. I'm like, yo, y'all know y'all can do this, right? Go practice. That's why I was like, we got this lab time. I got the whole meditation things and show you how to do it, have the out of body experiences on purpose to actually, it's like a training ground. When you learn how to do that, you don't need to go seek information from any human teacher on this earth. The creator will teach you himself or herself. However you want to relate to the source of creation, you will be taught personally by the source of creation. Everything that you need is already on the inside of you. You just need to become aware of it. And that's what this book is good for. It's taking it. So you got to stay in there. You got to hang in there. Don't doze out on me, y'all. Don't doze out. Okay. So that's what we at. We talking about awareness, right? About AO, right? AO, AUO, absolute unbounded oneness. Who we call? Yeah, the source of creation, right? Yeah, exactly. And Gina, no middleman is required. But until the awareness kicks in, we got middlemen all over the place. No matter what you want to call them, Jesus, Buddha, whatever you want to name them. Middlemen are not required, right? See, but what people are missing is that these middlemen that they're using, true middlemen, right? True middlemen have gone through that process and they realize that all they need is already on the inside of them. And see, here's where humankind messes up. They begin to worship these men as gods, but literally they are, because they realize that they are children of a God. They themselves are gods. It is your own individual path that you have to find and lead yourself back to the Godship, back to your God state that you really are, right? People who have extraordinary spiritual understanding and awareness, and people find out about it, they tend to want to worship them. Hey, because as you do this, spiritual things will happen. Supernatural gifts will just begin to happen for you. You will be endowed with it. Not that you're giving it, but because you're following your path and you're uncovering it, right? And you begin to embody the source of creation, which is why when you learn about healing, Reiki, and all this stuff, but not just learning it to do it so you can go make money off. We ain't talking about them kind of folk. We ain't trying to be them kind of folk. We're really trying to connect with the source of creation, with Yah, so that we can become one as they are one, as He is one, as we, as He created us to be. And when we do that, we can begin to correct a lot of things around us. That's how it was intended to be, y'all. School, Earth is a school, right? And there are problems here. It's like it's a lot. All the problems here, we're gonna solve. we're going to have to solve. These are like the problems around the world are literally like the math quizzes and math tests or English tests. That's all this is. That's all this is. Who's been studying? Who's been paying attention? Because who you waiting to come correct this is going to come right here. Who's been studying? Where are the diligent students, right? You guys have to solve these problems. Who we've been waiting for has been here all the time. It's us. We've been not showing up to class. We have not been doing our diligent studies, right? We just calling, look, just give us the answers. I'm a cheat. What you got? Hey, I pay you for your answers. Or can you just do it for me? It's a bunch of cheaters down here. Don't nobody want to study. Right. I like that. Angels in training. Oh, if people only knew how true that really was. Think about Enoch. They give us the stories. Enoch was a human born person, right? But Enoch was a very diligent stutter, a very diligent studier, student. Forgive me, I'll be tripping over my words sometimes. But as he trained over the years, granted, his lifespan was a whole lot longer than what we have today. But still, we can accomplish great things with our lifespan, and we can even increase our lifespan if we get ourselves on the right path. And as we begin to learn these things, part of this is literally to be able to transmute and to transform your own body, right? It's called alchemy. And a lot of people, you got a lot of this truth chopped up and split up all over the world. Like that is like your, as you go through school, and you know how you go for your PhD, anybody that's going for their PhD or whatever, you have to do a thesis, right? After you learn all this information, like the big thing to see if you get your degree, or if you graduate, is if you can actually, the eternal life that we learn about, bro, you have to do that for yourself. But it's all you get a whole lifetime to figure it out and do it. Don't waste time, which is why we have to get on. We got to get on it now, because especially if we got younger children, oh, my children gonna be a source to be reckoned with. I'm telling y'all this now, right? If we get it together in this generation, this next generation, even our children, our children's children, bro, I'm gonna just be like, look, B, you keep on doing this. After I transmute myself, I ain't going nowhere. My energy's still gonna be here. I'm just gonna lose my fleshly body, but I'm gonna still be here rooting on for you. I'm beginning your clues and stuff, because those who actually transition, those are the ones who are called the Christ, right? You become in some. I actually saw a little bit of it in, what's the Oaspi, or maybe it was the Megillah, because I'm trying to read both of them simultaneously, y'all. But it's not just there either. I saw it there again, but it's in other little things that I saw. They talk about like Christ consciousness and stuff, but not necessarily what they're talking about. It's like you're promoted. I guess you could just call it eternal life. Like when you get to that point and you're granted eternal life. You know how in New Testament, Jesus, after he went through all his stuff, right? After he overcame everything, now he's like, he has his glory, right? His glorified body. That's the word I was looking for. You get your glorified body, right? Now you could go in between worlds. That is like a real thing that I found out, right? And as you grow in your learning, spiritual, and you begin to practice things, but you don't really figure that part out for real. Like you can mentally assent to that, especially if you grew up in church. Oh yeah, I'm getting my glorified body. No, G, you got that. You got to work for that. Like you really do. The way they teach you about it, but it's a fun journey to take, right? It's a fun journey to take. But as you begin to grow, and especially when you learn how to truly meditate and you realize that you are a spirit that has a physical body, and you can literally transform it, it is still blowing my mind. It's absolutely amazing what happens, right? And in the Eastern world, they call them cities. We talked about it before, or supernatural. In the church realm, we call it supernatural abilities or gifts of the spirit, but they call them cities. But you don't just get these bestowed upon you. It's because of your diligent study and purity, life living, and all these things. It's like you build up to this, and then you realize that you begin to gain certain abilities, right? But it's through discipline, it's through purity, like clean motives, like all those things, like you literally have to go within and cleanse up everything about your life. Not that you have to be perfect, but I would say darn near perfect compared to what how the world currently is, or even the regular churchgoer, right? It's not that we're that okay, it sounds like that. It's not that we're striving for perfection, but we are striving for perfection through daily living and learning, trial and error. But it's like as you gain a new skill, it's like you just add that to your daily living, and all the good things you learn, you just add it to your daily living, to where you gain like this momentum, and more spiritual doors will be open to you. You begin to see clearly. You'll see more clear into the spiritual realm. Like all of these things, it's a progression. But if you just you do a little here and you do a little there, those are results you're gonna get. Here a little, there a little. That's all you're gonna get, and you're never really gonna break through in your spiritual learning and understanding at all. And that's just frustrating to live a life like that all your life, and you're still at daycare stage in your spiritual understanding. That is frustrating to me. That is frustrating. But it's all our fault because of our inconsistency and not being diligent, right? Find something to be diligent with. Like I had like this, the morning videos, I had to find a way to keep my own self accountable because I was of that group, here a little, there a little. And I was being frustrated. Some prayers and stuff not being answered, just little things, it's like little fizzles, little flickers of light. I'm like, I'm getting sick of this, and actually I learned, that's crazy. I learned about actually being disciplined through this multi-level marketing thing that I was looking into quite a few years ago. But it was a really good teacher, and he was saying you have to be diligent. He said if you're a poor speaker, he said then speak every day. He said use YouTube videos. He said do like a 5-minute video a day, and do it every day. And he said do it live, right? And I'm like, oh shoot, because at that point, if you go back and look at some of my older videos, oh gosh. So, well, you can't necessarily see it from some of my pre-recorded videos, because I would pre-record a lot of my videos and just kind of like upload them. But I couldn't really get any like live feedback, and that's what I needed because of how I was like withdrawn and like I'm like a introvert. I mean, you probably couldn't tell it from the morning videos now, but I can see my progress, and I had a whole lot of different things going on with me, right? Even like before I got braces, I would speak with like a closed mouth. But now I'm proud to show off my teeth now. But even in the way I carried myself and presented myself, it was like I was aware of every little flaw that I had about me. And it's like, okay, y'all. And I'm like, girl, you was talking crazy. I look at the videos and then I delete. I never upload anything. And then I got this one teacher, and all through the multi-level marketing thing, and I didn't ever do anything with that. But the teacher was so good because he wasn't just teaching about business, he was just teaching about overall life ethics and how to present yourself, and don't do this type of thing to get over on people just to get people in your downline and to make money. He said you will never make it that way. He said some people make it. He said, but they don't stay on top for long because there comes a place where your character is going to carry you the rest of actually your character should carry you the full journey, right? But some people, it's just, and that's what he was more so about. He was not so concerned if you really built the business, but he was concerned about you building your character. Because if you build character, you ain't gonna have no problem with building a business, right? So if you got a problem with speaking, talking to people with confidence, do a live video and do it every single day, right? And he said, and over the course of a year, possibly 2 years, you will see how you've grown. You come out of some of your shells and you just kind of break through. You'll learn some things about yourself. You'll sit and watch your videos and you'll critique your own self. Your speech will get better. I'm like, well, by golly, that was right, because I took that little nugget that he gave with the little business thing to make money and I applied it to my life. And by golly, if this man wasn't telling the truth, because I just look at my growth from all that time up until now, like, man, I've, just looking at myself, and I still kind of stumble over words and stuff, but not like I did before. And my confidence is totally, my self confidence. And I know now I can pray a prayer and it's going to be answered. Like all of these things, little simple principles, right? But people who may not be ready for it, may not necessarily catch it and apply it like I did, and made it a whole spiritual principle, a part of my life. And it literally changed my life. A lot of people aren't ready for it. A lot of people don't catch it, right? But when a student is ready, the teacher appears. And a lot of people, they can't recognize their teachers, right? And this particular teacher at this time just happened to be a businessman in a multi-level marketing company. But I caught what he said and I took it and I applied it, So I'm just saying things like that. But yeah, so it's when we learn how to be diligent, we just pick if you jumping around all over, pick one thing and be diligent with it, right? And for me to hold myself accountable, to make sure that I read every day, not reading a little bit today, read. I mean, because I would read my Bible anyway, right? But I wanted to be more diligent than what I was to really gain the maximum benefit from my spiritual studies. And by doing that, I was like, that's one way I can hold myself accountable, because if I say I'm gonna be live, then I gotta be live. Because if I say something and I don't do it, then I'm gonna be counted as a liar. And I don't want to be looked at. I gotta go through this whole mental thing, hyping myself up, right? To get myself to make sure I'm staying on track, because ain't nobody there. Hey, you read your Bible today? You read your Bible today? You do your study? Ain't nobody there to do that. You gotta find ways to hold your own self accountable, right? And by doing it for so long, it just becomes a thing. Like if I don't do it, it's like I'm missing something. I'm off track, right? I can stop anytime I want to, but I found it to be a good part of my life that I decided to implement, and I do it for as long as I enjoy to do it. But things like that. And this is something that this helps us to really understand, right? And as you find one thing to be diligent with, y'all. And if you're diligent with it, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a spiritual thing. It could be just friggin' working out, right? That one I'm still kind of struggling with. Like I want to have this body that's snatched. I'm like, why can't I apply this same stuff that I know spiritually to my darn morning exercise routine? Right. So that's like I really be fighting with myself in the morning, because I know I need to do it before I even come here. Right. I'll be good. And then it's just like, if you miss a day, that's what happens. If you miss a day, something I actually know, I can't just say one day, right? Because I've implemented to where I take the Sabbath off. If you miss more than 2 days, it started to become, oh, I'll just do it later. And I start pushing my time later into the day until by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I get to it in the morning, just go to bed. And then you went to bed late, and then you wake up late. And then it's like, oh, I ain't even got time. I got to be like, it's a vicious cycle that keeps repeating. You have to figure out a way to break it and hold your own self accountable. Sometimes you just got to do it and sacrifice some sleep. So that's what I'm doing now, right? I'm sacrificing even more sleep. It's like, I don't really need this much sleep for real, right? Because because I've learned how to implement meditation, when you meditate and you correct your diet, you're not feeding yourself a bunch of flesh and dairy, meat byproducts and stuff like that, you'll realize your body really doesn't need that much sleep. Because when you sleep, it's breaking down. That's why people get the itis when they get full bellies, right? You need all your energy to be diverted to your belly, right? Your God is your belly. Your belly is your God, right? And we need to kill that too, right? We need to be able to control everything. Our spirit needs to control our flesh, not our flesh controlling our spirit. But you got to go in steps, in stages, right? So when you get your appetite under control and you stop consuming other living beings and sentient flesh, and you go to a more plant-based lifestyle, you'll realize the body does not, you realize your body has all this extra energy, and you don't need to spend a lot of time sleeping. Now you can get up early, you can meditate, you can exercise. It's a process, right? You just pick one thing though. Pick one thing you can stick with and do it. And by all means, stick to it until it becomes a habit, right? Some people say 21 days to create a habit. I'm going to say just shoot for the 40. Shoot for 40 days until it's solidly in there, right? Sometimes you may need to do it, I don't know, go for 60 days. 60, definitely 90 days, you will have a new habit, right? So I don't know. Maybe just start off, okay, I got to be faithful with this for 90 days. Do something. Just figure out, you ain't got to choose those numbers I gave you, but I'm just saying. All right, let's read a little bit of this. Okay. Our level of awareness has delivered us to the point where we have within our grasp the potential to dramatically affect the direction and speed of our evolution. And we kind of just said all that, right? Yeah, we got to do it. And depending on how fast we go, will be determined by what we do and how often we do it and being diligent with what we do. Our level of awareness has delivered us to the point where we have within our grasp the potential to dramatically affect the direction and speed of our evolution. However, to use this potential to improve the profitability of our species within the larger system will require a dramatic increase in our ability to integrate technology with wisdom at the point of individual application. Without a doubt, improving the quality of our individual and collective consciousness is the most important and critical aspect of self improvement or evolution facing the human race as we move into the 21st century. Balance is always important. If our technical know how gets too far out in front of our ability to apply its results wisely, we lose our balance and fall flat on our face, perhaps irretrievably. Ours is a particularly critical time. The choices we make during the next half century will dramatically affect the outcome of the next half millennium. Improving the quality of our consciousness is and always has been fundamental to our evolution, but today it is also critical to our survival and to the continued success of the Homo sapiens experiment. If we accomplish a significant improvement in the quality of our consciousness first, if we can lead with our quality, the rest of our options will be guided by our wisdom and we will leap boldly ahead. If, on the other hand, the quality of our consciousness lags and we do not accomplish a sizable measure of spiritual growth first, we will have the cart in front of the horse, so to speak, and it is going to be a wild and dangerous ride. Isn't the evolution of consciousness a fascinating process? I suggest that we invent some serious, I'm sorry, I suggest that we invest some serious effort in improving the quality of our consciousness. I also suggest that we fasten our seatbelts. We have been discussing our biological evolution because it is best to start with something basic that we at least think we understand. In doing so, we have defined the concepts of evolutionary pressure and specific criteria for evolutionary profitability. Having done that, it is obvious that survival and propagation are non issues to an absolute unbounded oneness. Instead, it is self improvement, the reduction of system entropy that provides the evolutionary pressure and profitability criteria that guides AO's involvement. Remember, AO is I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. What's AO, y'all? Something unbounded oneness. Hold on. Absolute unbound oneness. Okay. In order to understand the natural pressure that drive AO's evolution or the creator's evolution, we must first understand how consciousness improves itself by achieving higher levels of internal organization, entropy reduction. Let's review the evolutionary process. After the first step of exploration into all possible states, the second step is to assess which states are profitable or significant and to continue to explore those valuable states while letting the losers go. Do not imagine that evolution or an evolving entity makes rational cognitive choices using specific criteria that define profitability and significance, such as lower entropy, survivability, and propagation. Though I may use that language construction as a convenience, be aware that evolution must begin as a natural, not cognitive or intellectual process. Only after a certain level of awareness, competency, and tool use has evolved can evolution be influenced by an individual intent. So he pretty much saying, don't even think that somebody can use all the things that they're learning until time has passed where they really understand it and they're able to make good decisions with the tools that they have, right? I've learned that personally. A lot of things that I know until time passes and I've had an opportunity to test it, sit through it to where it really sinks in, and now I can teach you about it. it's not until then that I can actually use these tools and make a wise decision. But while the growth process is happening, it's going to look all kinds of irrational. Only after a certain level of awareness, competency, and tool use has evolved can evolution be influenced by individual intent. Potential or possible states are continually explored. Those that happen to lead to reduced profitability, self-destruction, or dead ends are the losers. These losers either remain as they are or degenerate if there are no more unique possibilities or viable existences to explore that are also good investments. Every evolving complex system will eventually keep growing, and it has in parentheses, which means entropy decreases, or run out of evolutionary gas, and it says entropy increases or stays the same. This is true of all large, complex systems, consciousness systems, Earth's ecosystem, the solar system, technical and organizational systems, computer systems, the internet, and biological systems, including physical human beings. However, keep in mind that evolutionary potential is dynamic. Investment opportunities come and go as evolution continually modifies the system upon which it operates. Change one thing and everything is affected, including the external and internal environments of the individual entities that make up the system. Change is constant and often chaotic. As long as there are large numbers of complex of com as long as there are large numbers of complexity, interacting, self modifying entities, there will be evolving systems of those entities. Survival and propagation represent the external pressures or constraints of a biological environment. Thus, if a particular complex system is biologically based and has constraining issues such as survival and propagation, choices relative to these constraints can put certain avenues of exploration out of business. On the other hand, where there are few external constraints and no competition is defined, individual systems and systems of systems simply continue evolving as long as they have some place to go. Thus, with fewer constraints, evolution delivers more diversity because there is always some place to go. For example, there are few constraints placed on offensive or defensive survival strategies or on modes of locomotion for biological life forms. Consequently, we observe many types of survival strategies and modes of locomotion among the creatures born to Mother Earth, as well as many variations within each type. AO naturally has few constraints and therefore is granted great freedom of form and function in solving evolution's profitability equation. Winning evolutionary strategies are not based upon some predetermined specific criteria or profitability calculations, they just happen and persist. Losing strategies just happen and then fade away or stop progressing. No one performs an evaluation. I know this is difficult to fathom, but accountants and lawyers are not required to implement the fundamental process. It just happens. No doubt, some lobbying organization is trying to figure out how to legislate mandatory legal and accounting services into the evolutionary process and then charge high fees. But so far, all life forms continue to evolve, change, and grow without professional help. And it goes into a little short aside and it says, in fact, Mother Nature so arbors bureaucracy that even if she gets raped, she will not call the authorities. However, there is little comfort in the fact that for any of us, because if the abuse she suffers goes too far, she will eventually get even. Count on it. Think about when it says Mother Nature's being raped, think about, I think, well, the first thing that comes to mind is thinking about how they pillage some of the African countries, especially the Congo, right? And still how they have some less desirable working conditions there, having people dig for stuff and the gold and stuff that they use for our convenience is here to use these contraptions that I'm using to record this video today, right? And I just pay whatever the fee is there, let me get that, right? But they're killing people, pillaging Mother Nature, the earth, to get these resources, to give us these conveniences, right? We all guilty of it. And it says eventually she will get even. Although she may not get you right now, you still out all the gold and everything, and she'll get even eventually, right? However, hold on. In fact, Mother Nature so arbors bureaucracy that even if she gets raped, she will not call the authorities. However, there is little comfort in the fact that for any of us, because if the abuse she suffered goes too far, she will eventually get even. Count on it, right? And that's how the earth begins to cleanse herself. And you throw some things off, right? Volcanoes begin to erupt, not because of because of some earth things and what the humans are doing here, right? Robert Betswabu, Betswabu. And when she does, all within her reach will be equally punished regardless of culpability. On the other hand, as long as we are respectful, she is willing to let us have our way with her whenever desire and indulgence pique our insatiable appetites. She is an extraordinary, robust lady, at ease with poisonous snakes, killer bees, vampire bats, erupting volcanoes, tornadoes, and earthquakes. But short sighted lobbyists and self serving politicians scare her to death because together, like a malignant tumor, their destructive potential may overpower her capacity to regenerate. Greed kills. And that's the end of that little short aside. Let me see how much we got left. We got like 4 pages left. Oh, yeah, we'll finish it. Optimal profitability, as it is constrained and prodded by internal and external environments, defines evolutionary success. Profitable being, growing, and evolving constitute the criteria for evaluating the success of sentient entities. The fundamental process iterates individuals and systems toward success by improving upon previous results wherever growth and investment potential exists. Because no management and no intellectual efforts are required to control or manipulate the evolutionary process, it remains efficient. System within system within system. A whole must be self balancing, self sustaining, and self correcting, or it becomes self eliminating. Because survival and propagation do not constrain our timeless, immortal, spaceless, apparently infinite AO, it would seem to be free to pursue every possibility to open it. If you happen to be apparently infinite, spatially unrestrained, timeless, immortal, multidimensional, and aware, you have tremendous potentiality. With so few constraints, there is almost no end to what you could do to keep yourself busy and avoid becoming dead ended. It should now seem more obvious to you why the less constrained non matter physical realities should evolve a more varied set of life forms than the more constrained physical matter realities. But more about that later. Trina, hey girl, hey. A potential constraint or the capacity of a finite consciousness system might be the energy or focus that would be required to keep track of all the Gedekin experiments in progress, to maintain and profitably organize all the information required to support a complex interactive virtual reality would require a good memory, or perhaps a big computer. The existence of limiting factors because of AO's actual finiteness, finiteness, would would inevitably lead to self-modifying computational system, digital organism to set priorities and develop rules that optimize resource utilization, because there must be limiting factors associated with any form of actual or real finite existence, then infinite and unbounded do not accurately describe AO. However, from the relatively tiny perspective of our local reality system, OS, AO appears infinite and unbounded. There are no edge effects that we experience directly. Imagine how unbounded and infinite your brain would appear to a carbon atom stuck in the middle of it. So we shall soon see that a relatively infinite, absolute, unbounded oneness is sufficient for the purposes of generating all the reality that we can possibly be aware of, and much more. It makes sense that evolutionary pressure operating upon a complex system of consciousness would encourage that system to invest in improving the extent and quality of its own awareness, the ability to profitably interact and organize. In other words, the fundamental process causes AO to organize and configure itself to decrease or minimize its entropy. Equivalently, we could say that the fundamental process causes AO to improve and develop the potential of its being, the quality of its consciousness, the level, breadth, and depth of its potential. That appears to be similar to our mission, our reason for being, doesn't it? Does AO's motivation and evolutionary purpose flow down to us? Of course. We are manifestations of it. So, how could it be otherwise? We will hear more about that later, which is what we talked about, our purpose, right? We also becoming the Christed ones, right? Or the process of alchemy to eternal life, where we now have glorified bodies. We are now one back with the Creator, right? And people that actually are able to do that, for some reason the human race has gotten off track and they begin to worship them as gods when they should be taking that same course of life to transmute and transform themselves into light, just like they did. They just happened to complete their course, and that was probably, I'm sure that was their last go around, because they actually got it this time. And now what do? They join the assembly of the gods, and they help the ones that still trying to make it through the process. People, we call them angels, we call them messengers, but it's those of us who have completed this level, right? And completed it with flying colors, right? Now you can join the dance. I'm so excited about that. I got a long time before I get there, though. Okay. Okay. That appears to be similar to our mission, our reason for being, doesn't it? Does AO's motivation and evolutionary purpose flow down to us? Of course. We are manifestations of it, right? We are sons of God, right? Sons of Yah, sons and daughters of the Creator. We are spirits sent here. We're going to put you through this process, right? Give you a body, put you in the earth school. Oh, y'all, it's so good when you get it. Okay. I'm going to read this again. We almost done, y'all. That appears to be similar to our mission, our reason for being, doesn't it? Does AO's motivation and evolutionary purpose flow down to us? Of course. We are manifestations of it. So, how could it be otherwise? We will hear more about that later. For now, it is enough to understand that through increased complexity in relation to itself, AO escapes atrophy and puts its limited energy ability to modify itself, to change its internal environment to the most profitable use, continually redefining and improving its overall capacity, quality, and awareness. AO develops an awareness of its internal states and learns how to modify them to decrease its overall entropy. Other types of interaction and awareness related to AO's external environments may also be evolving, but they are not directly relevant to us. Consequently, we will continue to ignore them because we cannot experience or understand their processes or their significance. AO's outside environment is to us like our outside environment is to our intestinal bacteria. Those little entities that live in our gut are so immersed in their own limited reality that they simply do not appreciate what we go through to earn money to purchase food, much less the roles that farmers, sunshine, rain, transportation, and economic conditions play in the larger food cycle. Geez, some of them don't know that there is a larger food cycle. Can you believe that? They think food is manna from heaven. Bullpucky. They should deal with your boss and the line at the checkout counter. That's okay. So what he just said is, we, us humans here in this earth realm, going through this cycle, we our relation, our understanding of the creator or the bigger awareness around us is sort of like us being bacteria in our gut. So in relation to like the bacteria in our guts, they're completely unaware of all that we deal with to make sure we keep the body healthy. So they got something to sort out down there and, separate good from bad, make sure things flow to the right portions of the system, make sure the blood is clean, like all this stuff we have living in our body. We got good bacteria and the bad bacteria, and they balance one another out, right? When the bad bacteria get out of balance, you have to make sure you're feeding your body the diet that it needs. I like what Yaki says. He said, "The live it. Don't call it a diet." Yeah, he just compared us to parasites, and Gina. That's exactly what he just did, right? He compared us to parasites. And I don't necessarily disagree with that because some of our fellow human beings on this earth could be classified just that they could be classified as the bad bacteria in our guts, right? But he's just giving us a um a, a a smaller look at what we're dealing with here, right? And so by looking at that, the parasites in our gut in relation to us, looking at absolute unbounded awareness or the creator of heaven or Yah, it's like that. We're like the parasites in the gut of a being, right? It makes sense though, right? It's that you cannot really comprehend what's really going on out there. You're this small compared to the reality of it all, the complete awareness of everything, right? Think about parasites in comparison to all the other organs in our body, everything, right? You're this small compared to my body, right? Living inside my gut in an unseen dark place at that, right? That's like what we are here in the womb of the earth. We're in that unseen dark place. And we're just trying to emerge out as good bacteria. Okay. Let me read that again. Other types of interaction and awareness related to AO's external environments may also be evolving, but they are not directly relevant to us. Consequently, we will continue to ignore them because we cannot experience or understand their process or their significance. AO's outside environment is to us like our outside environment is to our intestinal bacteria. Those little entities that live in our gut are so immersed in their own limited reality that they simply do not appreciate what we go through to earn money, to purchase food, much less the roles that farmers, sunshine, rain, transportation, and economic conditions play in the larger food cycle. Geez, some of them don't know that there is a larger food cycle. Can you believe that? They think food is manna from heaven. Bullpucky. They should deal with your boss and the line at the checkout counter. Let's wrap it up with a short summary. Devising and implementing ways to optimize the process of making self improvements as judged by AO's immediate sense of profitability leads to improvements in the quality of AO's consciousness or the creator's consciousness, right? That is in line with what those tiny globs of cells were doing in the primordial soup a few billion years ago on our planet. They were engaging in simple self improvement, exploring the possibilities, trying to find a better, more profitable existence. The energy form and constraints are different, but the evolutionary process is exactly the same. AO is constrained by its internal environment and the fundamental process to move towards a more profitable existence by decreasing its average entropy or equivalently by increasing its useful energy. Self improvement has become humanity's primary evolutionary motivator as well. The external environment for humans is essentially subdued. Consequently, we have become our only major threat. The greatest challenge to our species today is to survive the self destructiveness of our own low quality of consciousness. Ain't that the truth? We must now learn to master the internal environment. Remember the wilderness? Somebody asked what the wilderness was of being set free from Babylon. All that takes place up here. It's consciousness. It's a mental slavery, people. right? And not just for the black people, but all the people of the earth. Now, everybody has been mentally enslaved. There were those who were physically enslaved, not just black people, but different races of people. But we just kind of hear, when we hear about slavery, everybody just automatically now just think about only the black people was enslaved, right? And it's still terrible either way. But that was the physical captivity. What's even more debilitating is the mental captivity that they put everybody in, right? And that's the slavery we need to be broken free from, right? Because when you break free here, you are free. You are completely free. Chains, he ain't really doing much of nothing. Really, I mean, it does. It'll break this body down. But it's a terrible thing if you got this broken down and you got this broken down. You ain't good for nothing but the fire now. You need to start your game over. Light up the fire 10 times hotter. It's a terrible thing when you in bondage here and you in bondage here. But if you in bondage here, but you free here, you can break out of the bondage of the body, my G. Yo, gosh. Okay. Self-improvement has become humanity's primary evolutionary motivator as well. The external environment for humans is essentially subdued. Consequently, we have become our only major threat. The greatest challenge to our species today is to survive the self-destructiveness of our own low quality of consciousness. We must now learn to master the internal environment. Our success at gathering knowledge and making tools has placed a great capacity to destroy in the hands of animated by low quality, underdeveloped, immature consciousness. The need for rapid self improvement has become critical. Will the individual consciousness Will the individual conscious beings that collectively define humanity grow up, lower the entropy of their consciousness, or equivalently raise their spiritual quality enough to make the choices that will allow their species to prosper? Might this maturing of the spirit or quality of mankind happen sometime soon, or do we need to experience more pain before a significant number of eyes and minds begin to open? Right? The sleep or the captivity, it's a your awareness being taken away, your mind has been taken away, and you've been sleep. Right now that we're waking up, we're becoming aware of that we've been put to sleep and how we've been put to sleep. Not just our bodies, but our minds have been put to sleep. Remember, growing up is not a group or political activity, it is a personal activity. Groups raise their average quality level only as the individuals within those groups make a personal effort to increase their individual quality. Self improvement of the species in general is up to you as an individual, right? I didn't even know that was coming in the reading for today. We was just talking about this, right? It's all up to us. We are the ones we have been waiting for, right? Nobody has more potential to contribute than you do. Only individuals acting as individuals can make a difference. Tough guys with big muscles have less real power and are less in control of their environments than brainy, bespectacled nerds. Survival and procreation are giving way to self improvement as a defining evolutionary constraint for humankind. Genetic engineering and Psychot- psychotropic drugs are a quickly growing reality. The control we can exercise over our physical bodies is rapidly increasing. If the maturation and quality of our consciousness were as precociously developed, it would provide grace, stability, and balance to our great leaps into the unknown. We are slowly taking the reins of physical evolution into our own hands, climbing out of the petri dish into the lab. We are becoming a co designer, a partner in the evolutionary process. We are undoubtedly following in Ao's footsteps because the fundamental process is the same for everyone and everything, and because we, like Ao or like Ya, are primarily manifestations of aware consciousness. We almost done, y'all. The fundamental process, which develops the potential of an individual entity or system of interacting entities by continually exploring the available states of profitable existence, applies equally well to humans. other beings, critters, consciousness, ecosystems, technology, governments, and all other sufficiently complex interactive systems. Systems are simply an organization of individuals whose synergistic interaction produces collective results. Systems of systems are developed in the same way. All growing systems, including consciousness systems, evolve towards minimizing average entropy by generating more profitable levels of organization. Inanimate things such as rivers, mountains, rocks, atoms, and molecules change through an evolutionary process that moves towards increasing average entropy by seeking the lowest available energy state. Non living physical matter, objects, and systems do not have the capacity for self improvement or entropy reduction that sentient consciousness has because their choices, interactions, feedback, and the ability to make self modifications as a result of their experience are either non existent or too limited. It seems that we have derived a new and more general method for differentiating between living and non living objects or systems. Virtually all objects are systems. Living systems are sentient and exhibit consciousness, no matter how dim or unfocused. They have choices. Their choices are guided by intent and profitability. Hold on. Their choices are guided by intent and profitability. They evolve. Any system that can intentionally act, react, interact, improve its present situation or configuration, or purposely, by making the appropriate choices, decrease or maintain its entropy in the face of the constant tug of the second law of thermodynamics, is a growing, evolving living system. The attributes of a consciousness system are given more precisely at the beginning of Chapter 7 in Book 2. For now, it is enough to know that the capacity and capability of effectively self organized towards some purpose, evolutionary profitability, is critical to forming and maintaining aware consciousness in all life as we know it. Does that make your government, the Earth's ecosystem, a national or global economy, digital computers, and the internet potential life forms? Stay tuned. It is the fact that non living and non growing systems tend to move naturally or evolve toward minimum energy states along the path of least resistance that is ultimately responsible for the truth of the second law of thermodynamics. We will see later that this fact of physical matter reality existence is one of the rules in the space time rule set that defines the laws of physics and physical matter reality. Later, it will become clear that we are an integral part of AO's evolutionary process, that we are evolving consciousness. Where is this AO thing going? How do we fit into this picture? And what does AO have to do with deriving physics, the meaning of life, our physical reality, or the big picture of the larger reality? Are we lost, wandering aimlessly in the metaphysical desert? We are not lost, and the answers to these questions and many more will be forthcoming. Be patient. There are many basic concepts that first must be introduced before the big picture can begin to take shape. It is better to let these questions slowly cook a while before we get back to them. Before results can be discussed, we need to follow AO's evolution to its logical conclusion. That is that is it for the summary. I expect that questions are popping up in your mind like toadstools after a summer rain. To what end is AO motivated to expend resources? What defines AO's top evolutionary priorities? Mental capacity, growth, power, curiosity. What turns AO on? Art, science, knowledge, benevolence, love, entertainment, investment strategy, leisure, pleasure, or just having fun? Interesting questions to be sure, but also hopelessly ano- anthropomorphic ones. Avoid the habit of thinking of AO in terms of human attributes. There is a connection, but attribution naturally flows from the parent to the child. Try thinking of humans in terms of AO's attributes. And that, my beautiful friends, is the end of chapter 27, which we've been reading for like 2 weeks. Right? So he said, think of Ao, or think of the great creator, right? Think of us in relation to him as what he said, as try thinking of humans in terms of Ao's attributes, right? And we're being defined, and we're all of these things, these processes we are going through and working out all the kinks before we return back to the creator and I guess make the overall system better, right? I thought it was good. I know it was kind of long, and I know I lose people over it, and it begins to sound like a bunch of blah blah blah, blah blah blah, wonk wonk wonk. Yeah, I'll come back later. And I get it, right? Especially if you haven't been following along, you will get lost real easy, right? So if you just joining in, or if you can't seem to keep up, you must have missed something. Or if you're losing track with us, you must have missed something. Find out where you was last, you found yourself to be competent at the last mark where you really understood everything. Go back there and begin from there, right? You got to go back to your last point of reference where you were tracking along and you understood everything. Somewhere you got lost, so you didn't quite make the connection somewhere, right? Go back to your last point of understanding and move forward from there, right? Everything is recorded, people. All right, y'all. So thank y'all for hanging out today. And I am surprised that none of these kids came running down these stairs. Yeah, Thailand. Hey, girl, hey. All right, y'all. So today is Sunday, and I didn't realize we was gonna spend 2 hours here. Y'all the real MVPs, right? For hanging out this long and listening to this. Y'all must be really into your studies, right? Y'all really want to understand this. Because I think some people look at My Big Toe as like the scientific nerdy book, and I guess it kind of is if you're not really into that kind of stuff, right? But it is. I love it. It adds to my learning, not just regular learning, but it really helps me grow spiritually about understanding so many things, right? You got to understand about the body before you can even really get into spiritual things. You really have to understand what you are and how you were created, because that makes a big world of a difference on your understanding in spiritual things. If you don't first know that you are a spirit, how are you going to understand the spiritual things, right? That needs to click. I'm a spirit. Oh, shoot. So spirits can do this and spirits don't die. And here's something to think about too. I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Think about something that you taught about in Christianity, right? How does, when y'all get this and y'all understand, you kind of interact with your own spirit, you're going to realize, first of all, spirits don't die, right? And you cannot necessarily burn spirits either. So the whole concept of hell, how it was presented to us, and I know that sounds crazy to some people, like, oh, you saying that? No, I'm just saying, use your brain. We are allowed to use them. Like, really, we are. Like the title from the other day, we are really allowed to use our brain. The Creator sent us here and gave us a human brain to help our spirits develop, right? So it can be complementary, which is why he paired them together, your spirit with a physical body, with things like this and how it operates. Learn out how it works. This is your car. Learn out how it works. Learn how to build it. If you need to upgrade it, do some not upgrade it like changing stuff, not like cutting off your male parts and making them. I ain't talking about those kind of up, and I don't call those upgrades. Those are downgrades. That is destroying. That's destroying government property. But we ain't gonna get into that. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? You're able to like upgrade your body, eating the right foods and exercise, and even if you want to build muscles, and all these things will help. It really will help the brain focus better, which will better sync the sides of your brain, the hemisync, left brain, right. Hold on, you probably see left. You get what I'm saying. This is left side of my brain over here. This is the right side, but if you're looking at me, it probably looks opposite, right? Alicia, you stupid. She said, I guess the new butt is off the table. I mean, it's your body. It's your vehicle. Do whatever in the world you want to do with it. I'm just saying. But just make sure it's not going to impede your spiritual growth. Now, if getting a new booty is not going to impede your spiritual growth, then by all means, have at it. But if a new booty is gonna change your whole attitude, now all your pictures we see is not gonna be your face, it's gonna be of your butt tooting it up. Like, you know what? It's gonna take you off the path of where you're supposed to be going. Then that butt should not have been a part of your life. You should have lived the rest of your life with a flat booty. So, but I'm just saying, different things like that you got to think about. If it's not going to impede your spiritual growth and it'll help upgrade you. I mean, if you sitting down and all you getting bruised because all you got is tailbone back there, then I mean, okay, consider it. I mean, there are some things. If squats are not working for you, I would say before you. Thank you, Dana. Do some squats, sis. I would say pick a discipline, and your discipline, if you bruising up your backside because your tailbone hits the chair because you ain't got no booty, you should go into the gym. At least go through all the natural holistic avenues first before you let somebody come in and start injecting you with some stuff, because you don't know if this surgeon is going to have an off day, or you're going to get some charlatan that comes in there and put Fix-A-Flat in your hind parts, right? We got some of them too. That woman they showed the picture, Fix-A-Flat, you can literally pop her booty up and that the implants flip around. I'm like, clearly that's supposed to be on the other side. Hit it again so it can flip back so the round side can be out here so we can see. People do some crazy stuff, all for the sake of taking shortcuts, right? I get it. I get it. I'm not against shortcuts if you are properly trained in a manual way, right? That's what I said, Fix-A-Flat, right? Some people got Fix-A-Flat booties. I'm calling them Fix-A-Flat booties. Literally put Fix-A-Flat in this girl butt. I'm like, sis, were you did they put you to sleep? Like, you didn't smell it. Like, I mean, how did it get this far? I'm like, you see what they doing down here? They still down here acting a goddamn fool on the earth. On the earth. They doing all kind of crazy stuff down here, right? I'm not against shortcuts. If you learn how to drive the manual way, drive this body the manual way. If you've done everything that you can, right? Meaning you've been diligent, right? You've been diligent. You weren't half stepping it with your eating habits and the exercise, all those things. If you're going that way, and a lot of times some people, I just ain't got the time. I got the money. Let me do it. Then okay, whatever. That's your choice. You can do that, right? But a lot of times it's because people don't have patience. They haven't learned how to develop their own patience, their own discipline, where they take shortcuts. And like I said, I ain't getting on nobody because you took a shortcut, you got a surgery, whatever. Sometimes you just need the extra help, especially if you're extremely out of control. You just maybe need to, okay, I just need to get all this extra stuff off, or I'm gonna die in like 2 months. Then help me. Then okay, then if you're not disciplined enough to get your eating habits under control, I mean, you're gonna eventually die anyway. They're gonna come cut all the extra stuff off, pop your booty. I mean, you still going the way of the grave. You can just bought yourself a little bit of time, possibly if you don't die under the knife. You still got to come back and fix this, because if you don't fix this, you're gonna be fat again in a little while. Yeah, I be silly sometimes, but it's the truth, right? Yeah, the multiple complications, all these things, right? And if you would have just been a little bit of discipline, right? And learn how to work out your own soul salvation, changing some of these old habits, right? You could have started the root, getting to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is you and your undisciplinedness and all this craziness that you got going on up here that you need to work out. We need to unscramble the brain and put it in a orderly maze that you can get through. Because right now it looks like this up inside your head. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. Somebody need to help you take all the lines and make them nice and orderly. Stop all this going on, right? And help you take all these squiggly lines and make a nice little path, whether you want to do it a circle or you want to do squares or whatever. Somebody need to help you sort this out, right? Because if this don't change, if the habits don't change, your way of life don't change, you literally just buying yourself some time. I mean, we could just give it some time. We'll watch you. We'll see. You done wasted your money down here, right? You was snatched for a little bit, sis. Maybe you got to enjoy one good summer. Ooh, girl. Okay, sis. Go ahead, red bathing suit, 2-piece. Okay, for that first summer. But when the winter kick in, when the winter kick in, and you need something warm to fill your belly, Gaia Nami is the solution. Yes, Saf. Gaia Nami, right? Okay, you paying attention to my earrings. Right? Yah is the solution. Yah is supreme. God is supreme, right? Gaia Nami. So, but yeah, it really comes back to us and our own self-discipline and how we live our life. Granted, doctors are needed sometimes, surgeons are needed sometimes, and it's okay if you need that extra help with the intent that you already started to change your life so you can keep what you're getting help to get rid of, right? So you can keep that stability, right? But if you don't change any of this, your saying is running out of your clock anyway, right? The clock is ticking on you, sis. You just bought yourself. Okay, we'll put a look. You done bought yourself about 15 more years, possibly. But I mean, that's all. It really is. It really is. It comes down to us. We are the problem, right? We got to get our discipline under control. Kay Michelle got sick herself from having surgery. They had to go in and correct it. Yeah, so now you got to have another surgery to correct the botched up surgery that they did to do what it is you wanted to do to make yourself look snatched, right? Sometimes you're going to get injections in your lips. Be happy with the lips the creator gave you. If he wanted you to have big lips, he would have gave you big lips. If your exercises ain't working for you, then it must not be in the cards for you to have big lips. Because if you had big lips, only the creator knows what you be doing with them big lips. So be fine with your thin lips. Y'all gotta get out of here. All right. Yes, take it one day at a time. Enjoy the process. Yeah, don't short yourself. The reward is so worth it, and it's so much better in the end, right? Just like becoming disciplined, it's always painful. Disciplining yourself in the beginning. You got to smack yourself. You gotta beat your own self up, right? All these bumps and bruises you get in the beginning because you're trying to break yourself from old habits. You're trying to become disciplined. You're trying to get yourself going. But there's a point in time where it becomes a joy. Just like working out, going to the gym is tiring. Oh my God, my muscles are sore and I'm going to give up, right? And too many people give up in the beginning. You got to keep seeing it through because it's going to come a time where your body is going to become conditioned and it's going to be prepared and it's going to begin craving the discipline that you started yourself on a path on. If you get yourself far enough in the discipline process, your body will take over. It really will. Just like praying in tongues or chanting or whatever. If you do it long enough, you will feel your spirit literally take over. And it's like you prime a pump and it just will continue to go. It will continue to go by itself. It will lead you like it seriously will. But you got to get past that point in discipline. You got to get past the beginning stages of discipline. It's so worth it, right? You begin to enjoy the journey, right? You really do. The big lip community. Yes, have the big lip community appreciate your analysis. Well, thank you. I'm glad I could be of some service. All right, y'all, we got to get out of here. Father, thank you for wisdom and understanding. We thank you for teaching us and leading us and guiding us into all truth. And may your name be glorified forever. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.